This is Joel Markowitz from DCTheaterReviews.com. I'm here at Signature in Shirlington Village in Arlington, Virginia, with actress Carolee Carmello, who is performing the lead of Aimee Semple McPherson in Saving Aimee. Carolee Carmello took a leave from Mamma Mia on Broadway to come to Signature to perform in Saving Aimee. Carolee received a Tony nomination for her work in Lestat, and a Drama Desk Award and a Tony nomination for her performance in Lincoln Center's production of Parade. She has also starred on Broadway in Kiss Me, Kate, The Scarlet Pimpernel, the revival of 1776, City of Angels, Falsettos, and Urinetown, the musical. Carolee won an Obie Award for her off-Broadway performance in Hello Again. She has also appeared in A Class Act, John and Jen, Das Barbecue, I Can Get It For You Wholesale, and The Vagina Monologues. Thank you so much, Carolee, for coming here.
Oh, my pleasure.
And it's a Saturday morning before the performance.
Yes, standing at the bottom of the mountain of the 4 shows in 2 days.
So what attracted you to this project?
I didn't know a lot about Aimee Semple McPherson before I began this show, but I heard about it because there was a friend of mine named James Moy, who I was doing Urinetown with at the time, who was working on this project, which at the time was called Hurricane Aimee. And he came into the theater one day and talked about it and said, what an interesting piece it was and what a fascinating woman she was. And I said, yeah, it sounds really interesting. I said, who's playing my part? And he said, that is a good part for you. You're right. So that was my first hearing about it. And then I guess it was about 6 months later, somehow Kathie Lee Gifford had gotten my name from some producer friends of hers and writers, and she approached me with the script and asked me to look at it, and I did. I thought it was a really great idea for a show. I think, she's a larger-than-life personality, and she's got so much in her character and in her experience that is great fodder for musical theater, I think. But at the time, it was written for 2 actresses, which on reading it, I thought, well, I guess it's okay to do it that way if you have a reason to write it that way. If you're writing Little Me, or if you're going to have the 2 parts of herself interact somehow, but they weren't really using it as a device. They were just doing it because of the age range, and they were thinking that it wouldn't be possible for one person to do it. And I said, well, why don't you try it? I mean, I would love to try it that way.
And you're so young looking.
He's trying to butter me up on the first question.
I'm trying.
So she said, well, she was very trepidatious about it. And I had a lunch with Eric Schaefer, who was the director of the show, who had been working on it for a while. And he also was a little nervous about the idea, but he said, let's do a reading. Let's try it with one actress. And so we did. And ever since then, I haven't let it out of my grip, because I just love this character. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime roles.
Right. So how did you prepare to play her?
I read a couple of biographies. I listened to several of the audio tapes that are available of her radio sermons, which are fascinating. I watched some video. There's a new PBS documentary, which I recently saw.
I just saw it too.
Did you?
It was fascinating.
Yeah, really interesting. So I did all that kind of stuff, but I also just sort of, did a little soul searching as we went along. And luckily I don't have, a drug addiction or schizophrenia or any of the other issues that she was facing. But I certainly am an ambitious woman with children, and I have a lot of the same kind of struggles that she had. So I think that helped me in a way to sort of understand her soul a little bit, and I just find her so interesting. So anything that I could read or learn about her, I did.
Well, what's your favorite scene in the show?
Oh, gosh, my favorite scene, I would have to say that the youngest parts of her personality are the most fun before she gets into sort of, deeper and deeper trouble as her life gets going. I don't often get to play a 17-year-old, seeing as I'm a middle-aged woman now. So there's something really fun about just that childlike thing of, swinging on a swing in the backyard and having dreams of what your life is going to be and fighting with your mom and, just stomping around and being indignant about life. And it's kind of freeing in a way. I don't often get to do that on stage anymore. So I guess that's the most fun.
Okay, what is the most difficult scene to play in Saving Aimee?
Gosh, there are a few that are difficult. Certainly vocally challenging. It's going to sound funny, but one of the hardest things about this show for me is the stairs. And you've seen the show, so there's 2 giant staircases that move in and out. And at least, I haven't counted, but at least 10 times a night I'm going up and down those stairs. And both the beginning of the first act and the beginning of the second act, I start at the top of the stairs in a spotlight with heels on, and I'm trying to walk gracefully all the way down to the stage level without looking, and without tripping and without, falling on my face. So I would have to say that that's probably the hardest thing about the show. I try to make it look easy, but it's not.
But you haven't fallen yet.
Not yet. I need to knock on it again.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Thanks.
Well, it's such a very vocally demanding role.
Yes.
So how are you holding up doing 8 performances a week? And how do you rest your voice between performances?
I don't really do a lot of resting. I guess from years of having children and just talking to them, day in and day out, I don't have a great, sort of ritual of how I take care of my voice. But I find that talking actually helps warm it up. So it's good that we're doing this interview right now, getting me ready for my matinee. I guess I've just been lucky. I mean, I was nervous, actually, about how I would hold up vocally, because the only other time we've done this has been really short term. We've either done like a 2-week reading or a 3-week workshop, and I didn't know, long term, 8 shows a week, especially with Signature's 5-show weekend. I didn't know how I would fare, but so far so good. I have a week and a half left, and I'm hoping my voice holds up, and then I have to go right back into Mamma Mia.
Let's talk about, your performance. People have been raving about it, including my group that was here last week.
Thank you.
And I'm a big fan of yours. As you can see on the table, I brought all these playbills and things for you to sign because I admire your talent.
Oh, thanks.
And you've gotten these great reviews, and you've seen some audience reaction now, and some critical reaction. Mm-hmm. So tell us, are there any rewrites for the show that you're all discussing? And tell us what future plans are for the show as of today.
Well, I'm not sure that I would have the most up-to-date information about the rewrite, prognosis, but I do know that Kathie Lee has been here a lot, and that she told me just the other day, she said, I keep looking at things and wanting to fix them, things that we didn't have a chance to fix, and she said, when we go to Broadway, I'm going to fix the ending, I'm going to fix this, that, the other. I don't know exactly what the plans are as far as changing things. I know that I think several people don't feel like the very end of the show is quite right yet. There was some discussion about the top of the second act changing. I don't know too many specifics, but I know that, with a new musical, you're never really completely satisfied that it's perfect, and
you're always tweaking things.
Yeah,
I mean, all these Broadway shows I saw this week, Coram Boy and Love Music, they were all tweaking right to the last minute, talking to all the actors backstage.
And then they wish they had 2 more weeks to tweak a little more. Yeah. So I don't know. And I know as far as plans, of course there are dreams in everybody's head about moving on, and certainly I would love to do it again. I know there are a lot of producers coming this weekend, and we have high hopes that somebody will just want to, pluck it up and put it in one of their theaters. Kathie Lee's been raising a lot of money, and she's been working really hard to make it happen, so I'm hoping it will.
And let's talk about you and your husband, Gregg Edelman.
I know
I've
him.
seen in all these shows. He's
a talented guy.
You're a successful working Broadway couple. And Gregg's been nominated for 4 Tony Awards for City of Angels, which I loved. Him as Stein.
Yes.
Anna Karenina, I actually saw it, believe it or not.
Did you?
That's the story I'll tell you later. It's a great story.
Wow.
And The Revivals of 1776, you were in that too.
Yes, yes.
And Into the Woods, which
Yes.
he was also
Prince
nominated
Charming,
for.
yes.
That's right. He was very charming. In that
He
film.
was.
And you've been nominated twice for Parade, which was an
Right.
amazing performance.
Oh,
and I still listen to that
thanks.
CD a lot.
Oh, it's such a good score.
And last year you were nominated for your electrifying performance in Lestat.
Thanks.
I actually saw that too.
Did you?
So what's it like to be on Broadway and raise kids at the same time?
Well, I'm sure it's no different than any other sort of, 2-career couple, 2 doctors or 2 lawyers or 2 salespeople. I don't know. It's a lot of juggling. It's a lot of, did you take care of this because I don't have time and I'm running to the city and pick up the kids. And I think the big difference in our lives is that our schedules are not so predictable. If I'm doing 8 shows a week, like I will be when I get back to New York doing Mamma Mia, that's one thing, and you know where you have to be at a certain time. But if you're doing smaller projects or auditioning, like Gregg is right now, the night before you might get a call and you have to show up and you have to, do an episode of Law and Order, and all of a sudden you're gone for 20 hours that day when you weren't expecting to be. So that's the big challenge for us as parents. And also the fact that the hours are kind of opposite of my kids. So I have 2 children and they're in school, and most of their free time is the time when I'm at work. So I go to work in the evenings and I work all weekend because Mamma Mia has a 5-show weekend as well. So that makes it tough because I would love to have some more of my free time be their free time. But other than that, I feel lucky to have a job and lucky to be able to support my family and juggle everything like every other working mother in the world.
Well, let's go back and talk about what it's like to work together with your husband in the show. I saw you last year in the Rags concert at the
you did?
Theater, which was great, and it was for World AIDS Day, right?
Right.
So have you appeared together in any other shows besides City of Angels?
Yes, we did falsettos together quite a bit because I did the Broadway company and then Gregg was cast in the touring company. So we do have quite a bit of opportunity to work together, but we always look for other chances because I think we pair up well together. And we actually met doing City of Angels, but then shortly after we met, a couple years later, I guess, we did a show up at the Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut, which was a musical version of the movie Arthur, the Dudley Moore, Liza Minnelli movie. And it was a great show. It was written by Marta Kaufman and David Crane, who then went on to write Friends, the TV series, so they'll probably never write a musical again. But it was a great show, and we sort of fell in love doing that show. And then nothing really happened with the show, but we ended up getting married and having 2 kids, and so I guess it wasn't completely a waste of time.
Very good. Well, we're going to end this podcast, and thank you so much for being here again.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, just personally invite our listeners and all those theater goers who need to come see Saving Aimee. Tell them why they should come see the show and what kind of experience they will have.
Well, I find this show really fascinating because it's a story of a woman who is just an amazing personality, and you hear a lot of great singing, not just from me, but that sounds sort of ridiculous, but Florence Lacey and Ed Dixon and Steve Wilson, and it's a great cast, Adam Monley, so you can hear some great singing, a great original score. How often do you get to see an original musical that's making a world premiere? And I think it'll be a great experience, so come over.
Okay, thanks very much. Look for Carolee's new CD called Ordinary Thursday, The Songs of Georgia Stitt. Saving Aimee plays through May 13th at Signature, located in Shirlington Village in Arlington, Virginia. For tickets, go to www.signature-theater.org or by calling 703-820-9771.